second consecutive shutout of the Twins.
Welcome to baseball seasons 1965. Pitcher perfect.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
The biggest news in big league sports is the new home of the National League Houston Astros, the Harris County Dome Stadium they call the Astrodome.
The ballpark was great, 72 degrees year-round. They had comfortable seats. Nobody has ever dreamed of playing baseball indoors. Judge Roy Hoffhines had a dream of building a dome. He did it, and I still think it's the eighth wonder of the world.
Christened the eighth wonder of the world, the Astrodome opened in April 1965 to the amazement of an awestruck public.
Baseball comes indoors this evening when the Astrodome opens its doors. President Lyndon Johnson is expected to be in attendance tonight as the moment sports fans across the world have been waiting for.
I was in the purple section. Where were you sitting?
I was in the back row of the yellow section up in the cheap seats.
You hadn't even been drafted yet, huh?
No, I was a senior in high school that year, and I'd watch them build the dome. We'd go over before the game and watch what they were doing, trying to figure out what was going on.
The Astrodome roof arches 208 feet above the playing field, with a clear span side to side of 642 feet. An 18-story building could easily be fitted inside. The action on the Astrodome scoreboard will be a show all in itself. It took 3 years to build. It cost $31 million. It's the only thing that's...
The Red Sox are coming off a win in their previous game. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Welcome to tonight's game. With me, as always, former 20-game winner Mike Krukow.
Thanks, Kuiper. It looks like another great night for baseball.
And now, here's tonight's starting pitcher, Oliver Perez. Welcome to this American League matchup featuring the Seattle Mariners and the Boston Red Sox.
Now batting, second baseman.
It quickly revealed one unforeseen design flaw.
We've got tremendous light here in the Dome Stadium. The chances are we might have to use sunglasses when we play day games.
Gill hits a shallow fly to right field. Makes the catch to record the out.
Never in doubt. Paint those slats that, was supposed to allow the sunlight to come in and let the grass grow. When they painted those, the grass had no chance.
Which was basically the same chance the Astros had to win the 1965 National League pennant.
Stepping in, Adrian
Beltre. Completely
Beltre.
Different expectations.
Left-handed pitchers don't pose much of a problem to
the Yankees to be in the World Series in 1965.
1-0.
This Southpaw has three solid pitches which he'll use at any time to get batters out.
They most certainly were. The Yankees remain the fall
It's going to be in the
classic
60s. No need for sunscreen today.
To 1964.
Nor the ball club in Major League Baseball had a run like that.
So, it was a realistic expectation for one to think they might be vying for a title.
He's on with a two-out single.
I've been with the club 15
years. The next batter
and we
is
just missed winning the pennant twice in 1954 and 59, and I just figure every year we're going to win it, and I feel the same way this year.
And why not? Coming off a 99-win year
strike,
in 64, the Yankees were
returning a pretty good strikeout pitcher and usually tallies a bunch every time he throws.
In 100 runs the year before.
High fastball, 0-2.
Was the health of 17-game winner Whitey Ford.
Whitey Ford had arm surgery after the '64 World Series, and so he was
Struck him out
in the '65 season. But remember, I had established myself having led the league in strikeouts in '64. Jim Bouton was one of the premier pitchers.
Here's the batting order for the home team.
So we knew we had three premier starters right there that would make us just
starting on the hill for the visiting team, Danny Herron.
Skipper Sam Neely's
Here's how the defense is set up.
Immediately come to mind when one thought of possible challengers to the '65 Yankees. The Twins' second-place finish in 1962 was their best since moving to Minnesota a year earlier.
Up next, Johnny Davis. This lefty really knows how to approach right-handed pitching.
Shots at the beginning of the season to win the pennant.
There's a strike.
Been the dynasty for years.
He's
so we
logged
were a team that nobody
155
expected to win.
And batters have had great success
from the '65 Twins was offense.
He's got 8
the
wins
'64
and 13
lineup
losses
had
on
led
the
the
season.
AL with 221 homers. As 6 players blasted 21.
He wanted the batter to go fishing on that one, and boy, did he ever fit.
Paced the slugging Twin squad.
Harmon Killebrew, he was the best home run hitter I ever saw.
While Killebrew was a multiple All-Star, the rest of the Twins lineup sported other promising players such as Bob Allison, Jim Howard, Zoilo Versalles, and the '64 rookie of the
Next
year,
at the plate, Lance Berkman. Misses for a ball.
Was expected to face a well-balanced offensive attack in 1965.
We had a complete lineup.
He gets it over for a strike.
Average and power.
Terrific pitch there, partner. He put the fastball right where he wanted for a called strike.
Get some pitching, they could be
He
dangerous.
painted the black with
The
that
Twins would prove dangerous in '65, as they had assembled quite the accomplished
strikes out the
rotation.
batter.
You had Jim
Hey,
Cott
falls
on the
behind,
mound with
makes
him.
great
You had
pitches,
Milo
however, comes all the way
Pasquale,
back
you had
and gets the
Jim
strike.
Grant, Jim Perry. That was a formidable pitching staff. And so this ball club could beat you in many ways.
Next up, Miguel Cabrera.
In fact, they were almost
This way, flat-out hit, right-handed
except they
pitcher.
were younger and they were healthier.
Misses for a ball.
That we
Sometimes you try to make the hit chaser.
the
That's
Yankees.
exactly what you saw right there.
A great ball club.
A big reason for that
2 balls, no
confidence
strike
was the early
count.
season
He averaged
performance
about
of
5
shortstop
Ks per
Zoilo
9
Versalles.
innings. A
In May
respectable.
of '65, Versalles had 5 homers and 24
Heron
RBIs.
deals the strike, and it's
Unusually
2-1.
big numbers from the Cuban import. Equally surprising was the Yankees' descent to 8th place.
3
9.5
balls, 1
games
strike.
behind the first-place Twins. The San Francisco Giants of the
And
early
he takes
60s
the walk.
harvested a
Hey, that was a
number
great
of
at-bat, partner.
high-quality
He wouldn't
Latin
budge,
American
just wouldn't
players.
pitch it for a walk.
Three elite brothers,
Jackson
Juan
steps into the
Marichal,
batter's box.
and Orlando Cepeda
This
were among the
right-handed hit
Hispanic
tries to
players
pick him off
gracing
at first.
Candlestick Park. In '64, the Giants ventured a bit further for talent, securing the services of
Heron
Masanori
delivers, and it's
Murakami,
1-0.
who became the
Gosh,
first
this runner can read pitches like
Japanese-born player to
nobody's
appear in the
business, so I
majors.
wouldn't be surprised to see him try and
would
steal
play
a
his
bag.
first full year in
He's got a
'65.
four-seamer, a decent slider, and an ordinary changeup.
Way ahead of his time, making the move from the
Misses
Japanese
for a ball.
big leagues to Major
Sometimes
League
you try to make the
However,
hit chaser
there was
your
sort of
pitch.
a
That's exactly what you saw right there.
takeover by the Giants of this prize
He
left-hander
walks him
from
on
the
4
Japanese.
pitches.
His team in Japan.
Hey,
were
Meat,
not happy
make him
with
earn
this.
it.
They felt betrayed.
Killing me.
So this was a very trying time because he was a man who not only was
This guy does
far from
pretty well
home
against
in
right-handed
a culture he did not understand, but also not getting any support from back home.
0-1.
If the hit goes to right field, they may not want to run. The right fielder's got a
The
cannon
Giants
for
were
an arm.
amongst the better in baseball.
He dives and makes a fantastic catch. That's the final out of the inning with a runner stranded on second.
Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, and Jim Ray Hart combined for 114 homers and 300 RBIs
After
in '64.
1, the game is scoreless.
Bay Area
These guys have
Tunnel.
a lot
By
of work to
65,
do
the
if they're going
Giants
to climb
have
out
always
of
been
the
known for home runs. So that was part of the culture of being a Giants fan.
on the inside
long
corner.
ball, the home
That
run.
is pinpoint control right there.
While the Giants'
catcher set
style
a
of
target on
power
the corner,
hadn't
the pitcher
secured them
just
a world
hammered it
championship
for a
since
strike.
moving west. Their
Very
early struggles, the Los Angeles
He
Dodgers
can
had
throw
won
4
two,
different pitches.
employing a radically different approach.
We didn't have a good pitcher staff.
That's a 3-pitch strikeout.
3 pitches, 3 strikes, doesn't get easier than that
Guys
part.
named Sandy Koufax and
Stepping
Don
in, Rocco
Drysdale,
Baldelli.
a dynamic duo
One
that
out,
headlined
nobody
the pitching
on.
rotation synonymous with dominance.
Fouled out of
We
play.
always felt that we were going to be a contender because of the fact that we had the best pitching in the world. You know, we're talking about Koufax and Drysdale.
Don Drysdale. Hard to put into words his value to the Dodgers.
Gathers it in with his glove.
Everybody loves
2 out.
10 strikeouts.
He's out on an easy play.
He and Koufax were as great a tandem as any team ever had.
Yet in 1964,
The next batter
Koufax
is
nor
Richie
Drysdale won
Sexton.
20 games, as the defending world champs fell to 6th place, 2 games under 500.
That year we had some problems with the pitching staff, and it was just one of those bad years. It was 19-5, and then all of a sudden we started to have elbow trouble, and I didn't pitch again that year.
Perez retires the side in
Perhaps
order.
that was one reason the Dodgers
Heading into
acquired
the bottom of the
15
second.
game-winning
No score
Claudio
here.
Stewart from the Washington Senators. Prior to the 65
Up next,
season.
Manny Ramirez. This batter's been known to go on streaks versus right-handed pitching.
That thought process
close
was
pitch
dealt
called
a
a
dire
ball.
blow, however,
This guy has
at the
4
very
pitches
end
to
of
choose from.
March 1965.
1-0 pitch.
At a spring training game, Sandy pitched a complete
Inside.
game. He wakes up the next morning and he looks at his roommate, Dick Trzynski, and he says, "Hey, Rooney, look at
Here it
this." And he
comes.
holds up his elbow. It was black. So he is sent to confer with the team physician, Robert Curlin. And Curlin said that he had traumatic arthritis, which means that all the cartilage in his elbow was breaking down. Curlin said, "You're in danger of losing use of your arm."
While the news sent shockwaves throughout the baseball world, Dodgers fans still believed in their left arm.
Nothing positive comes out of this guy.
Everybody was always
He's
nervous
falling
if
behind,
anything
he's
had
falling
to do
behind,
with
he finally
Koufax
walks
because
the guy.
everybody was aware of his history and his workload. But
Better
on the
go
other
for it,
hand, people
and he
looked
winds
at
up walking.
Koufax as almost this superhuman figure that could rise above everything.
Here's a guy that understands hitting, and it shows.
A fact someone in 1965 might readily forget would be the last time the Yankees had a losing
One
season.
on and nobody out.
That's because it had been an astounding 40 years back to 1925.
Defense would be wise right here to move into double play down.
In 1964 to the Cardinals.
Outside.
And Yogi
This
Berra was
right-hander has
fired
one
after his
good
1
out
year
pitch.
as Yankee manager. The Yankees brought in
There's a line drive.
Cardinals manager to manage 1965.
He's on with a single.
Nice single there. Softball hit.
Mahomes
is up.
This
lefty struggles at times against right-handed pitching.
The player who seemed to slow the most had been the longtime linchpin of the Yankees, Mickey Mantle.
Mickey was not
Grounded to the right side.
There's a key right there. You know,
He's on first with a base hit.
That's what I like about this guy. He always gets it done. You ask him to get something done, boom, he
with
delivers.
35 homers and 111 RBIs.
64 was his last career. He hit 432 right-handed.
More than just a few righty hitters who are superior against right-handed pitchers than this guy.
Precipitous. Only
This
19
guy loves to
homers and
whack balls up
46
high.
RBIs. One reason the Yankees season would be
They
disastrous.
appeal to the first
and
base
far
ump.
below the 500.
No swing.
Yankee Stadium, the place they call the home of champions, is now the home of a second division ball club.
Low.
The
2-1.
Minnesota Twins
This guy's
saw
stuck.
the rare opportunity
He expects to be on
rush
that
in
mound
through
all the way to the
top
ninth
of the
inning every
AL.
time. All this guy's got to do is hit the ball marginally deep. They should score the run from third easily.
We knew about the Yankees.
He walked him with the bases full.
Now here it is coming up on All-Star break, and we still have the lead. I'm just pretty confident that
Next at the plate, Johnny Damon.
As the American League was experiencing dramatic change in
And a
its style,
fastball in for a
that
strike.
development paled in comparison
The
to
pitch.
what the great society was witnessing across the country.
And a strike on a changeup.
A little bit different in 1965. We still
Three
couldn't
pitches,
stay
three
at
strikes.
hotels in 1965.
Three pitches, three strikes,
We
doesn't get
still
easier
couldn't
than
eat
that.
in restaurants.
Berkman
the
steps
game
into the batter's
itself
box.
was sort of a relief from what you had
That's
to go
strike
through
one.
off the field.
From coast to coast, 1965 was a hotbed for the
Pitch
civil
missed
rights
inside.
movement.
I was
All he's
living
got
in
to
New
do
York
right
at the
now is
time.
drive
I go
that
to
ball
Harlem
out
and
there,
have
pick
dinner
up
a
that
couple
run
nights a
third.
week, and Malcolm X has
Didn't
some
find
spots
the
out
plate
there.
for a
You
ball.
still can't
This
blame
guy
the
can struggle
Negroes,
with his
can't
control
blame the
times, and
movement,
he's
you have
known
to
to
blame
give
the
up 2
society
walks.
that let such frustration
3-1.
develop until
He was
this is
trying
the
to take the
result.
batter and go after the fastball
In
outside the strike
February
zone.
of 65, one of the most outspoken advocates for
Full
the rights of
count here.
African Americans, Malcolm X, was assassinated in Manhattan.
When he was assassinated,
He's walking a run.
This guy is just going out
Pitchers all over the
saying
place. They took advantage of
there's
it.
something you don't like, it's really, this is the man.
Aguero is next up. In there for a
2 weeks
strike.
later in Selma,
All you want to do
Alabama,
right here is make sure you
Dr.
drive
King
the
led
ball
a
to the outfield.
nonviolent march trying to secure voting rights for African
And now he
Americans.
falls behind, 0-2.
And while some in the South were
Just
still
out of the
not
fielder's
ready for this
reach.
long overdue change,
And a run scores. That's an RBI
it led
single.
directly to the signing of the Voting Rights Act by President Johnson in August of 65.
Millions of Americans are denied the right to vote because of their color.
The Mariners have some activity down
This
in their
civil
pen.
rights bill got to be passed. No more
The
not
bullpen
drinking
is
in
stirring,
water fountains.
so he
There will
just
be
wants
no
to come
more
out and give the
situation
bullpen
where you're
some more
not staying in
time.
hotels.
The wrong is one that's
Jackson is next.
The pitcher seems even more forced to that trip
Races
around.
and rest.
Heron fires a fastball and misses.
That is so
A deep
special
fly
that
ball here should score a run.
I will
They
never
have to keep in
forget.
mind that right fielder has a cannon. Sometimes you try to make a hit and chase major league. That's exactly what you saw right here.
All-Star Game.
And there's a strike.
The 36th All-Star game would take place in the home of the first-place Twins.
Hitters count 3-1.
Sometimes you try to make a hitter chase you. That's exactly what you saw right there.
All-Star games were
A
created.
walk forces home a run.
Hey, partner, they managed to take advantage of some control problems by the pitcher. They get a couple of cheap runs.
No, that's not exhibition run. The guys that talk about exhibition run are guys that are not there.
Here's Say-Hey Willie Mays, the center fielder leading off.
Mays would practice what he preached on the game's second pitch.
Goodson up next. The delivery. Lopez throws a strike with a slider.
Any deep fly ball here scores one
Four
for third.
batters later, Milwaukee
Misses for
great
a
Joe
ball.
Torre made it a trend.
Painted the inside corner. Watch out! He ran that pitch too far inside and hit the batter.
Stake to the Canadian
When you step up
League.
the plate against
Game
him, you better watch out. He likes to keep
posted
batters honest.
3 scoreless frames, and it seemed the senior circuit had a firm grip on the game.
Next up, Manny Ramirez.
The AL broke through in the 4th, while the crowd was treated to hometown
He painted
heroics
the black
in the
on the
5th.
inside edge.
The local hero, Harmon Killebrew. The pitch on the way. Fastball.
1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch is taken out to right.
Despite the American League's valiant comeback,
That's an RBI
the
single.
run in the 7th on a round Santo infield hit, setting the stage for Bob Gibson's 2 saves.
Look for the runner to stay at third and sit to right.
Lopez misses with a fastball.
It was no surprise that Willie Mays had starred on that day's national stage.
Pitch misses for a ball.
Mays had played in 16 All-Star games,
3 balls
providing
and
a
no strikes.
389 average with 3 homers, 9
Fastball
RBIs,
for a strike.
and 6 stolen bases.
Willie was the premier player.
He walked him with the bases full.
They were able to take advantage of the control problems by the pitcher that picked
As with the 65 Giants,
Mahomes takes his turn at bat.
His best year all the way around may have been 1965 as a San Francisco Giant.
For the first time since 1955,
They
Mays
asked
hit
the
more
third
than
base umpire if he
50
swung.
Don Drysdale stirs one up that Willie Mays can't resist. Willie wallops a tremendous drive that sails over 390 feet.
And that's a strike.
The 8th homer for Mays in 12 games.
Mays also led the league in total bases, on base,
2 balls
and
and 2
slugging percentage, all the while earning his 9th straight Gold Glove.
I had a very good year.
Picked him
2
up.
home runs, but I had a good all-around season. And the most
Puts it away for the out.
To me, and I was very happy about it.
In 65,
Benson
Mays
is the
had
next hitter.
support to complement his 112 RBIs. Jim Rayhart and Willie McCovey
The
contributed
count's
mightily.
1-0.
His arsenal consists of a less than stellar four-seam.
Their
Decent
combined
changeup
62
and a slide
homers
pitch.
and 188 RBIs
Strike with a
helped support
fastball.
another great Juan Marichal year. Through July, Marichal was
1-2
16
count.
with a
He
win
really painted the black with that
as his
changeup,
Giants
partner. He
trailed
got to
LA
swing the
by
strike.
2.5 games.
He's going back
Jim
at the
Ray's
track.
Cincinnati
The
Reds
wall.
were in the NL Hunters
It's
league.
off the wall.
And despite his subpar All-Star appearance, he was a huge reason why.
He empties the bases with a 2-bagger.
Benson cleared the base to get that double, and now a base hit even scores him. That's a great
And in
at-bat right
65,
there.
Maloney would be that fortunate after some tough luck. On June 14th, Maloney struck out 18 Mets during 10 late innings.
Stepping in, Johnny Damon.
They lost in 11.
Johnny Horse hit a home run off me, and I ended up losing that game 1-0.
This right-handed
2
pitcher
months
has one
later, on
pitch that's
August
better than
19th
all
in
the
Chicago,
others.
it was deja vu all over again for the overpowering
And a
right-hander.
strike. And it's 1-0.
He showed excellent command with that pitch to strike right on the edge of the zone.
I pitched 9 innings against the
final out of the
Mariners,
inning with a runner
and I'm
stranded
sitting
on
on the bench,
second.
and the score is 0-0.
With 2 innings played, the Mariners trail by a margin of 10.
He hit the
The
first
next
pitch.
batter is Ichiro.
He hit the foul pole, so when we got up
No
1-0,
balls,
I went
1
out
strike.
bottom of the 10th.
He's got 14 wins and 6 losses so far.
Ground ball. Picked by Cardinal
He hits a roller over towards first. And he's out.
Jimmy, that's got to be a real great thrill for you.
Well, I lost one early in the year, 1-0 against the Mets, and I thought maybe I might do the same predicament today.
Up next, Raul Ibanez.
Maloney's no-hitter was one of his 20 wins in 65.
First pitch.
A main reason the Reds would contend for the NL pennant all season long.
Come on.
In 1963 and 64, the Dodgers were anything but a power-laden
into right field,
finishing in the bottom 3 in slugging percentage.
He's got it.
Years.
Get a nice pitch there to get a fly ball. Nice work.
2-1.
Gill digs in at the plate.
They never won too many games.
Hey, Kite, as a manager, you hate to see this guy come up. His speed makes him a constant threat.
As the club would push that style of play to the extreme.
We had trouble scoring runs last year, and we haven't had that situation.
0-2.
The Dodgers had no hitters at all. Their third place hitter hit 230.
And here's the delivery.
Hit third all year and hit 238.
That's a 3-pitch strikeout. After 2.5, the score is 10-0.
Which is kind of amazing if you think about it.
Next at the plate, Lance Berkman.
Season-ending
He is out there with
suffered by their
none
best hitter, Tommy Davis.
That's his drive.
This guy sends shivers down the pitcher's back every time he digs
for
that
most of us that
batter's
season
got
is
to be
what are you
careful.
going to do to replace Tom?
No
Nobody thought
swing.
that Buzzy Bavasi, the general manager, was going to make a big trade. He didn't make a big trade. Brought up Lou Johnson.
He painted the black on the inside end.
With less than 100
This pitcher brings
big
3
league
different
games
pitches to the hill
under
with him.
the 30-year-old
He made a real good pitch for strike 3, Mike.
Hey, the pitcher wins the battle. Sweet pitch to get your
chance to come up and play with the Dodgers. Man, he doesn't get any better than what he did.
A bit high, 1-0.
The Bears feelings that I had for not getting an opportunity to play in the major leagues.
Combining excellent speed with 12 homers.
Sometimes you try to make a hit change your lift. Exactly what you saw right there.
That relied heavily on its fleet-footed shortstop.
And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
It was common knowledge that the other team felt that if they could keep me off base,
that will fall in for a base hit.
Knowing that, I knew how important it was that I got on base.
In the 4th inning of the
and he's in there standing with the double.
Cabrera just smashed the ball. There was little doubt that he was going to the second hit.
Saw him tag up and move to third.
1 ball and no strike.
The infielders have to be thinking. Ground ball on the left side. Look the runner back on the first. Ground ball on the right side. Just go to first.
Maury would manufacture runs.
And in 65, 1 run for
Hits the right
was
field.
often enough. As his 8 shots
for the out.
test,
Andy Koufax, the winner.
along with his equally
He didn't get all that ball.
stratospheric
Fielder
numbers
strolled over,
across
got
the
it,
board.
made me play.
26-8 record, 2.04 earned run average, 382 strikeouts,
This is for a
41
ball.
starts, over 300 innings pitched.
Startling stats.
2 outs with a man on second.
For Koufax, who's in the mix
1-1 count.
His number 1 pitch is his fastball.
experienced.
Sandy for me was like the 10th wonder of the world. I'm telling you, man, it was amazing.
Koufax is shooting for
Foul
his
ball.
10th straight victory.
Here's the
Despite
pitch.
a year-long arm pain, the
Misses
65
for a
season
ball.
saw Koufax
Sometimes you
winning
try to make a
straight
hit change
decisions
your
from May
pitch.
30th
Exactly what you saw
through
right
July
there.
20th.
Koufax, 1 run.
It's a full count.
At that time, we needed 2 or 3 runs.
Often overshadowed by Koufax, Drysdale's season
There's a
was
roller
great
to
as
the
well.
right side.
Big D went
That'll do it for the
15
inning.
in July, en route to a 23
After 3, the Mariners trail by a margin of 10. George steps into the box.
Yet despite the dynamic duo's power pitching, the light-hitting Dodgers could only muster a slim end of July lead.
It's a wide-open race with the Dodgers in front.
The Twins were another team hard-pressed by injury, as August saw 2 stars go down.
Here's the 0-2 pitch.
in American League.
And on 3 pitches, he's gone.
Everybody
Next up, Adrian
So they're
Beltre.
coming in, so Jim, you got to take your spot.
No one on and 1
Jim
out.
Perry responded with 5 wins.
He pulls a ground
along
ball
with
to the left
solid
side.
2.87.
That's out number 2.
Cabrera made him look easy on that out at first, guy.
Stepping in,
Into
John
that for
Buck.
stepped Don Mincher.
He is always a threat to hit the long ball.
Takes
22
the pitch
homers,
just off the plate,
65
1-0.
runs batted in.
Everybody put a piece of the post together,
On
and
the
we was
ground,
able to
the
win.
ball drops.
The dynamic performance of Zoilo Versailles
And he's safe at first.
to the Twins'
Oh, Parker,
season of
that's the bad
success.
throw. No ifs, ands, or buts
He
about
was
it.
able to do everything. fact that he could run, he could hit with power.
Porcelli's batted .273 and hit 19 homers and knocked in 77 runs.
He was an outstanding fielder. He had all this range.
Hit towards the shortstop. They make the play.
He was a shortstop.
Going into the bottom of the fourth, the score is 10-0.
Time period were known more just for their defense. So he stood out.
The next batter is Manny Ramirez.
353 with 22 extra base hits and 36 runs scored. Without their injured stars, Versailles enabled the Twins to increase their AL lead to 7.5 games by the end of August.
And the count is 0-2.
It was the year for Zoilo Versailles. He did some outstanding stuff.
So outstanding and made
It's hit out the left.
First ever Latin
He makes the
American
play.
MVP.
Got a nice pitch there to get the fly ball. Nice work.
It's always been a rivalry, the Giants and the Dodgers. That's way back when I grew up in Brooklyn. The Dodgers and the Giants were always having fights. Every time
Pitcher's lucky that slaughter wasn't hitting mine.
was like
Had a little very hittable
We
pitch
always
go
knew
by.
that whenever the Giants and Dodgers played anything.
He comes up a little bit short.
On August 22nd,
He's aboard
1965,
with a one-out single.
the first base Dodgers held a 1.5-game lead on the Giants. Tension was high as the visitors had taken 2 out of the first 3 games of the series. And the Sunday stage was electric.
We went up at the rim. The rim was down. Koufax was pitching. Marshall was pitching.
Ball.
And while the pitching matchup teased the unforgettable. In the
Here's
third,
the
with
1-0
Marshall
delivery.
at bat and John Roseboro catching, the game turned regrettable.
I fired it back to Sandy, and it came off the post to Marichal.
He just out of the piece laid out. He's got it. What a great diving catch.
Hit me with that ball.
That's a
What
fielder's
actually ended up
choice.
happening was a brawl and Marichal hitting Johnny Roseboro over the head with the bat, and more than one time. It was a bloody mess, a horrifying thing to see.
The Mariners are making a defensive switch. Here's the new shortstop.
And terrible remorse.
And I regret what I did.
Ball missing high with
On
the
the strength
slider.
of Willie Mays' decisive
pickoff
3-run
throw.
homer off of Koufax, the Giants won that day's battle. But at the same
Here's the
time,
1-0
might
pitch.
have lost the war.
The league president suspended Marichal.
They have lost the services of a great pitcher of 2
Benson
terms.
hits one to shallow
incident,
right.
I always believe
The catch is
I've been
made.
the ultimate downfall.
With 5 innings remaining, Seattle trails by
But while the
10.
Marichal suspension may have
Today's
been
game is brought to you by
affected the
EA
Giants' coming
Sports.
chances.
EA Sports
The
gets in the
Dodgers'
game.
psyche seemed little better as
Hey, this guy at the
September
plate can
dawned.
flat out fly. You better go right after him because you don't want to put him on for free.
Things are tough.
Gilliam doesn't question the call. He knows he is out.
A 4-4 record 7 days into the month was worrisome for the now second-place
He crushes
Dodgers.
it.
But more problematic was the fact that Koufax hadn't won a game
Caught on the
in
warning
25
track.
days.
He ran out of real estate there, but luckily the ball ran out of juice, and he was able to make the catch at the wall.
A guy from the team stationed behind
He
home
delivers.
plate to film him because he was concerned that he wasn't throwing very well.
Sandy didn't have real good stuff to start that game. Couldn't get his curveball over. It was a roller. It was up in the strike zone.
There was nothing. Bob Henry was pitching a great ball game.
He had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning as well.
And you can almost taste the pressure now.
They appeal the first on the check swing.
Started to feel better and better. In the last 2 innings, I don't know if I've ever felt any better than that.
Sandy could taste it. He was going for it.
He was literally coming out from
Up
underneath
next,
his cap.
Ichiro.
It's
not unusual that this lefty has some problems hitting left-handed pitching.
Sandy into his
And it's
windup.
0-0.
Here's the pitch.
Outstanding fastball in the corner of the strike zone. The batter had no chance.
Sandy's 4th no-hitter in the past 4 years was the only perfect game of his career.
The ball is back.
And it served
Way
notice to
back.
the red-hot Giants that
It's
the
off the
Dodgers
wall.
weren't joking around in 1965.
A double.
Mays has had a fine season again.
That was not
The
an easy
Sagan
pitch
kid
to
led
hit.
his
He was able
Giants
to
on a
leg on a
magical
double.
late-season run. Beginning September 4th, the Giants won 14 consecutive games to put themselves atop the NL by 4.5 games over the Reds and Dodgers.
So
Next
I
at
remember
the plate,
thinking,
Raul
why should I
Ibanez.
pull this out? This is what the Giants do.
Coincidentally, on the very same day the Giants' winning streak reached 14, September the 16th, the Dodgers began a winning streak of their own.
We won 13 straight games.
And the Dodgers have won it by a score of 2-1.
Swing and a miss on the
that
pitch
really
on the
showed me
corner.
something, knowing that the Giants
that fastball
take
when
your
you catch
glory
a
away
call
from
for
me
it,
and win the
that
pennant.
was
No,
overmatched.
you work a little hard
Lights
because
out
you don't want
scene.
the Giants to win the pennant.
That's the third out with one man left to board. Going into the bottom of the fifth, Seattle trails by 10. Next up, Johnny Damon. First pitch.
Get to the World Series.
Takes
That's
a
what
pitch
we do.
just off the plate. 1-0.
That's the last day of the season.
Here it
The
comes.
winning clubhouse, when you've won a pennant, is an exciting part of baseball.
He
Just
swiped
going
5
to the World
bases.
Series is a thrill. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
The Twins and their 102 wins would be the opponent waiting to play in Minnesota's first ever World Series.
Strike 3, and he'll take a seat.
Well, you're talking about making good pitches right there. Just really backed up against the wall, and then he digs deep and straight pitches and gets a strike in.
Metropolitan Stadium is the scene for the first game of the 1965
That one
World
splits
Series.
the outfielder.
You're on stage. You're in the World Series.
He reaches with a one-out single.
Meeting the Minnesota
He let that ball right past the infield. No doubt he pitched a good bit of it.
The series storyline featured two teams with vastly
Sometimes you
different
try to make the
styles
hitter
of
chase
play.
your pitch.
My
That's
own
exactly what you
experience,
saw right
you
there.
see the Twins in spring training. You knew
Makes a
that
pitch
guys
high.
would swing the bat.
If you're thinking about hitting a runner, this may be the time.
Koufax,
You got to
Drysdale,
throw a
and many
strike.
others. They weren't going to be a team that was going to outslug you like our team could.
Before one pitch was thrown, however, a major subplot emerged.
I was the opening day pitcher, and I was supposed to pitch against Koufax. I was looking forward to that because there was a lot of
3-2.
stuff being made.
He's hitting .316,
Black kid
21 home runs, and 83 RBIs.
But the Jewish kid, Koufax,
That's 3
chose
strikeouts.
faith over the Fall Classic, deciding not to play on the holiest day of the Jewish year, Yom Kippur.
Sandy Koufax never pitched on any of the
Jackson
Jewish high
takes high.
holidays. It was just that this time it fell on Game 1 of the World Series and
Taken for a
therefore
ball.
got so much
Maybe you think
attention.
hit and run right here. If so, the batter's got to hit the ball on the ground and try not to swing and miss and hang his buddy out to dry.
Play in the World Series, and I can't get the service of the man that's going to help us to win the World Series.
And he
He
takes the
never
walk.
offered any
Oh, it's too bad
explanation
he watched this
to
guy. He just lets him get
anybody
away.
for his reasoning, his motives.
I first asked him the question.
2 outs and runners on first and second.
What I got
Takes
was
a pitch
look
just off
on
the
his
plate,
face
1-0.
that would be everlasting for me.
The pitch
It made a better man out of me.
takes a pitch
Don
high.
Drysdale got the start instead. But unfortunately for the Dodgers, he was unable to complete 3 innings.
Don Minchard connects solidly with all his power. Messias gets around on this one. He pulls it down the line. It's another home run.
He walks him on 4 pitches.
For 2
That
homers
wasn't a bad
and
display by
7
the pitch.
hits.
You've got to credit the bat for showing a lot of patience and working the walk.
Boston went to the mound to take him out. Drysdale famously said, "I bet you wish I was Jewish today, too." Let's skip.
Grant, meanwhile, scattered 10 hits and going the distance for a lopsided Game 1 win.
And Minnesota wins 8-2.
Next up with 1 run batted in, Manny Ramirez.
I've never seen Sandy Koufax pitch in person until I pitched against him
Peter
in Game 2 of the
inside for a
65
ball.
World Series.
The weatherman has not been kind. The temperature right now, 56 degrees. The wind is 17
2
miles
balls,
an
no
hour.
strikes.
Just about every means known to a groundskeeping crew
He delivers.
has been used to try and get this field in good playing
If the
condition.
hit goes to right field, they may not want to run. The right fielder's got a
You
cannon
guys
for
don't
on.
play in this weather, do you? And I thought that might be the best chance
No
we had.
swing.
Undeterred by the conditions, Sandy was superb through 5 scoreless innings, striking out 8.
A walk forces home a run.
The pitcher's all over the place. They take advantage of it. Just cheap around.
If I give up a run, this game's over.
Climbing around through 4 innings as he faced Dodger right fielder Ron Fairly
Pitch
in the
misses.
fifth.
He swiped 5 bases.
So there's the first hit for the Dodgers. Switch hitter, Jim Lefevre. Come up to hit right-hander.
The key moment was Jim Lefevre hit a hooking line drive.
Fastball for a strike.
Drive down the left field line and hooking from Allison, who dives, makes the second.
Bob Allison made one of the great catches in World Series
2 ball,
history.
2 strike count.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your
Buddy
pitch. That's
saw
exactly what you
field
saw
and
right
sliding
there.
and made a catch that saved a run.
Payoff pitch
Perhaps
coming.
inspired
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch.
That's
That's exactly what you saw right
The
there.
runner goes. He strikes out swinging.
Oliva's going to try for 2. Safe. The Twins break through and lead.
4 innings remaining. The Mariners trail by 11. Gill comes to the plate.
Cott would cruise to a complete game, 5-1 win, giving the
Slow roller
Twins a
towards short.
2-0 lead.
He reaches with a leadoff single.
I've seen this guy make these kinds of plays before. This time, though, a little
and
short.
we'll be Sandy Koufax. And
Nobody
we
out.
put a pretty good whooping on them. So
Take
we
slow,
felt good
1-0.
going out to L.A.
And for the Dodgers, they either win today or I guess it's time to make out your shopping list for
On the
Christmas.
ground.
Fortunately for Dodgers fans, they had the third member of
He
their
reaches
big
with a
three,
single.
15-game winner Claude Osteen on the mound.
Osteen's Game 3 performance was really the turning point in the series.
Osteen still has a shutout going into the ninth.
I was at
Stepping
that
in,
game.
1 for
Brought
2,
to my own
Adrian
performance.
Beltre.
Osteen checks the runner, pitches, and Zimmerman hits a high bouncer straight at Wills. Morey steps on second.
Double play situation. Pitcher's got to try and keep the ball down here before the hitter hit the ball on the ground.
As Osteen hurled a 5-hitter.
That
It's the
changed
other way out to
whole
right.
texture of the series.
Makes
now
the
all of a
catch
sudden
to
it's like,
record
this thing
the
could
out.
go the distance, and if it goes the distance with
Did a nice pitch
Drysdale
there
or
to hit the fly
Koufax,
ball.
come on,
Nice
you
work.
really feel good about your chance.
Stepping in, John Buck.
When Don Drysdale hurled the series' 4th straight complete game, a Dodgers 7-2 win, it evened the fall class and
what a
reduced it to a
catch.
best 2 out of 3.
The fifth game of the World Series.
Good hustle to get that ball. Good finish out of the his glove to the out.
An 18-game winner from Minnesota, and the first left-hander in almost 30 years to win 26 games in the National League, Sandy Koufax.
Cott got into first inning trouble when leadoff man Maury Wills reached safely. And Jim Gilliam looked to provide Koufax with that often decisive 1 run.
A 3-pitch strikeout.
Pitch on a pitch from Jim Collins, smashes the ball into right field for a single. Wills slides into the plate with the first.
After 5 1/2, the Mariners trail by 11 runs.
The 2-0 lead.
The Mariners are making a change on defense. The new right fielder is in.
I gave up a few runs early, and that really took all the wind out of their sails, because once Koufax got a 3-run lead, it was just a matter of him throwing
He's batting
strikes and finishing it
277
off.
with 8 home runs and 57 RBIs.
Sandy's 4-hit, 10 strikeout,
Mahomes
7-0
takes inside.
whitewash of the Twins shifted both the series momentum as well as its location.
When we get back to Minneapolis, Sam Mealy, the manager, says, "Can you pitch on 2 days rest?" I said, "Yes, I can."
It is another thing to note that as Grant makes his way through the mound,
He's on with a leadoff single.
Instead of just sitting on the fine track, let's see if his teammates can pick him up.
Game 6 to give us a chance to come back and play Game 7.
1 ball and no
4
strike.
innings, Grant was hurling no-hit baseball.
full count, nobody out. Roseboro goes. Pitch.
2 balls and no strike.
Hey, partner, if the pitcher can keep the ball low in the zone, he might be able to induce a ground ball to
began
start
to
too.
display their trademark on offense, the long ball.
Bob Allison levels his bat. And there it goes.
Makes the pitch
Into the
high.
left field stand.
And while Allison's 2-run homer came as no surprise,
Allison circles
3
the
and 2.
bases in such joyful haste he almost catches up with Batty.
a 6th-inning 3-run
Up the middle.
Jim Grant steps into the box.
He's on with a single.
And rips into the first pitch.
That's a nice piece of hitting.
The next batter is Johnny Davison's homers in his 14-year career. Grant's 3-run blast made the score 5-0.
They've set that defense at double play depth. If we get a ground ball right here, they might get 2.
Here's the pitch. Makes the pitch high.
They're going to have to do something after that. Some of these pitches ain't even close.
The pregame drama at the
Breaking
19th
ball is
deciding
inside.
Game 7.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's
Very
exactly what you
interesting
saw right
scenario.
there.
Don Drysdale and John Roseboro walked into Walter Alston's office and said, "Sandy only has 2 days rest. You got to start him." Drysdale had 3 days rest, but Drysdale said,
On the ground.
"I can go and get up and down during the game in the bullpen and back him up." But Sandy, once he gets up, he can't sit down because he had that arthritic elbow.
He reaches with a single.
Batter did not panic. He got 2 strikes out, partner.
He started
That
his third
contributed
game
greatly to that
in
hit.
8 days. He said there was nothing left in the tank.
Yet somehow, through 3 innings, Koufax fanned 6.
Up next with an RBI in the game, Lance Berkman.
0 for 0 through 3
He
innings.
delivers.
Jim Cott was also pitching
Pitch
on 2
misses.
days rest.
Oliva a long way.
In the top of the fourth,
taken for a
the
ball.
feel of the game changed in an instant.
Lou Johnson is first man up.
My mind was set when I found out
2-1.
Jim Cott was pitching that I was going to do something big. But
And
it had to be a
here's the pitch.
fastball on the inside, and that's what I got.
2-2 the count.
It's a great opportunity to score a run with a fly ball. However, here to right field, it could be close because he's got a cannon out.
That home run.
Pitcher was a little annoyed with that call, Kyle. He sure thought the batter went around, and I agree.
Take a 1-0 lead.
Because nobody gave us a chance.
And the run comes
For
home.
us to be there for the seventh game of the World
A
Series.
2 RBI single.
Where I was and had the year that I had, it was supposed to be.
And when LA tacked on a second, fourth inning lead,
Up
they
next,
discovered
Miguel
Koufax some much-needed rhythm.
It's hard to get past what Koufax did
Fastball outside.
that day.
He swung 22 bases.
No curveball.
Breaking ball is inside.
Curveballs.
All he
finally
needs is a
called
deep
Rosie
fly
out
ball,
to
and
the
they
moon
should
and said,
score a
"Your
run."
arm's killing me. I can't throw it." And Roseboro said, "What are we going to do?" And Sandy said, "We're going to bleeping throw it by them." And he did.
Sandy, after inning 4, just one fastball after another, and we couldn't catch up with him.
Fastball got him. Strikeout number 8. And so far the question
And the
is
walk
how
puts runners on every base.
The more he pitched, the harder he swung.
Fall behind, finally walks the first.
with 1 out. Strike 3. Batting
1-0 count.
Koufax pitched the greatest game I've ever seen pitched.
And now the pressure is squarely on Marvell.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Deep fly ball should be good enough to score that
They didn't
runner
know
on
how he
third
did
base.
it either.
Hit towards second base. 2 out. And they turn 2.
Flawless execution right there on the double play.
World Series.
We were beaten by, to me, one of the
The
greatest
Mariners
pitchers of
have
all
some
time.
pitchers up in the bullpen.
Second consecutive shutout of the Twins on Monday on a 4-hitter, today on a 3-hitter.
He said before the game and again after, he felt like he was 100 years old.
Sandy, in Los Angeles, when you pitched your 7-0 shutout, you were quoted as saying after the game,
Dirksen hits it out to center, and the side is retired.
Today, how do you
Guy, every day can't be Christmas. This guy needs his head back to the dugout and keep on trying next time he gets out.
Sandy's
Next at
greatest
the
ever
plate,
performance,
Rocco
and
Baldelli.
perhaps the greatest
With the
season-long
speed this
pitching
guy
display
has, he's
in
always
the
a threat to
history
steal
of
a
the game.
base.
All I could say was, I'm glad I was on the side.
You're the greatest, Sandy. You're the greatest, baby.
Sandy Koufax would be brilliant again in 1966, leading the league with 27 wins, a 1.73
The
ERA,
0-2 pitch.
and 317 strikeouts.
3 pitches, 3
For the
strikes.
Dodgers, they lose both the World Series and their legendary Southpaw in the fall of '66.
I don't regret 1 minute.
Next up, Richie Sexton.
I would regret 1 year that was too many.
Meanwhile, it would be more than 2 decades before a championship came to Minnesota. But in 1987, the Twins finally brought the World Series trophy up north, winning all 4 series games at home. The game of the 80s and the 1970s was altered by artificial fields, which debuted in 1966. Originally called Chem Turf.
There's a close
and
pitch,
quickly
call the ball.
renamed AstroTurf.
Looked like the
when
pitcher
it
and
was
catcher
first
have a
installed
strategy in mind.
Houston's
So far, the
iconic
batters are
dome.
taking these pitches.
Everywhere you look,
That's
the 60s
8
were a time of
strikeouts.
change as the civil rights movement marched on. In 1966, Emmett Ashford became the first African-American umpire to work in the majors with a flashy and exuberant style that made him an instant fan favorite. Progress was unstoppable in the mid-60s, but for Sandy Koufax and the Dodgers, it marked the end of an era.
1, 2, 3, and the inning is over. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. With 2 innings left, it's been all Red Sox. Stepping in 1 for 2, Manny Ramirez. Taken for a ball. A ball. Pitch misses for a ball.
Looked like the pitcher and catcher have a strategy in mind. So far, the batters are taking these pitches.
He walks him on 4 pitches.
Oh, it's too bad he walks this guy. He just lets him get away.
Welcome to baseball seasons, 1967.
He scoops it up barehanded. That makes 3 hits for him in this game.
That's a tough hit right there. Pitch inside the opposite field.
1967. It was a tumultuous year and a decade of change. In the grip of often unsettling social unrest, America would see outbreaks of violence and eruptions of youthful rebellion.
1967 was one of the most unique years in American history, with everything was going on, the civil rights movement.
The Red Sox are going to the bench.
You know, free love, tremendous unhappiness at the Vietnam War.
But despite all the turmoil, there was still baseball to be played.
Hey, partner, if the pitcher can keep the ball low in the zone, he might be able to induce a ground ball to start, too.
Go back to any of the wars and the economies. It's a place where people can go and simply relax and forget all their troubles and just concentrate on an afternoon of entertainment.
By the end of 1967, baseball fans would have witnessed one of the most dramatic seasons in memory. But at the start, the game was in a serious state of flux. In the American League, the New York Yankees, who had won the first 5 pennants of the 1960s, had fallen on hard times and had finished in last place in '66. The Bronx Bombers were supplanted at the top of the league by the pitching-rich Baltimore Orioles. In their World Series matchup against the Dodgers, the Birds only gave up 2 runs in a stunning 4-game sweep.
Swing and a miss on the pitch on the corner.
Better had no choice right there.
But
Take it
repeating
in
in
a strike.
'67 was not going to be easy for the Orioles, as a group of hungry teams was vying for their crown. The Detroit Tigers
That'll do it for the inning.
Starting to fear.
Now there's
while
a
the
great
Chicago White
example of
Sox
the
were
defense
coming
picking
off
you up. They turned a
16
sweet double play
consecutive
right there.
seasons without a title. But Baltimore's
After
toughest
7, the
competition was
Mariners
expected to
trail
come
by
from
14
Minnesota.
runs.
The Twins had captured the 65
Stepping
pound
in,
and
Raul
looking forward to
Ibanez.
reclaiming their place at the top
Like
of the
many
league.
lefties, this guy has
But
his
there were
struggles
lower
against left-handed
expectations
pitching.
for second division teams, such as the
That
aging
one
and fading
just
Yankees.
missed.
And the Boston Red Sox, whose fans had just suffered through their 8th straight losing season.
You wanted to see a team that lost 100 games, 99 games, making errors, you know, striking out.
Perez with the 1-1
Why would
pitch.
you want to come out to the ballpark? In fact, those who did come out to the ballpark, I think they want to kill us. That's how bad we were.
But as much as the Red Sox struggled in the 60s, the Dodgers thrived. They had won the last 2 National League pennants, 3 in a 4-year span, and 2 World Series.
I'll tell you, partner, this pitcher's got to be
And the
careful with this
strength of
guy.
their
He's
team
got
was the
great
Major
wheels. He
League's
can turn a
best
single
pitcher,
into a
Sandy
double.
Koufax. In each year that the Dodgers had won the pennant, Koufax had won a Cy Young Award.
He delivers.
And pitching's Triple Crown.
That will fall in for a base hit.
Consecutive shutout of the Twins.
Another single.
He lined that ball right
Koufax's
past the
dominating
infield.
performances
No doubt
had
about it.
carried the
Good
Dodgers
bit
to
of hit.
glory. But
This
Sandy had
lefty
paid
hitter
a
was
heavy
just
price for
plain
that
regular
success,
against
as he
left-handed
often
pitching.
pitched through excruciating elbow pain. Finally, after the '66 World Series, he decided that he could no longer endure the agony.
I don't regret 1 minute in the last 12 years, but I think I would regret 1 year that was too many.
With Koufax abdicating his throne as the king of the hill, Bob Gibson of the St. Louis Cardinals was one of the pitchers most able to succeed Sandy. The intimidating right-hander was a dominating presence on the mound, who beat teams with his arm and his attitude.
Bob was the intimidator, not the intimidatee.
Gibson delivers.
You know, there are a lot of guys that want to win, okay, in life. They want to be winners. That wasn't the case with Gibson. Gibson despised losing.
Pitch taken for a ball.
And when he went to the mound, you weren't going to beat him.
The 1-0 pitch.
And Cardinal outfielder Lou Brock shared Gibson's passion for winning.
baseball was a war against your opposition.
Change misses downstairs.
Tradition.
He's batting .226 with no home runs and 1 RBI.
You feel different. You feel like you're in a falling dirt.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just to get your
They set that defensive double play
The
depth. You get a
slender,
ground ball right
speedy
here. They
Brock
might get 2.
had become one of the most disruptive
That's
players
9
in all of
strikeouts.
baseball.
You imagine yourself as a pitcher even 2 or 3 days before you came into St. Louis. The guy you had to think about was Brock.
The next batter is Adrian Beltre.
You know, not only was this guy a great base stealer, he was a 300 hitter. He was
Runner
really
on
the
first
ignition
with
for
2
that
outs.
baseball team.
Breaking
Brock
ball
had
that
joined
misses.
the Cardinals in 1964 and teamed with Gibson to help lead St.
pitch.
Louis to a World Series victory. But by
Makes the pitch
66,
high.
the Cards were
A successful hit and
struggling
run
as they
right here, and they
slipped
go to
to
first and
6th
third just like that.
and were dead last in the league in runs scored.
On the
We could
ground.
put a lot of hits on the board, but we weren't
That
going to
retires
do
the
have to put it in the lineup.
After 7.5, the Mariners trail by 14.
1966.
In order to change that,
Stepping in
they
1
gained
for
by trading
5,
for 2
Johnny
aging
Damon.
sluggers who had worn out their runs with their previous teams. As a Yankee, Roger Maris had outdueled Mickey Mantle to break Babe Ruth's fabled single-season home run record.
1 ball and no strike.
He was always dealing with the image of Mickey
There's a
Mantle
close
as the
pitch,
player
call
who
the
could
ball.
do no wrong. And I think that was difficult for Maris to handle in New York.
Shy by nature, Maris was resented by Yankee fans for upstaging their beloved Mantle and was portrayed by the New York media as sullen.
And it's
But
now
in
2-2.
'67, Maris showed his Cardinal teammates that you can't always believe what you read in the paper.
Brown
Maris
throws
is a
it to
ball player's
first.
ball player. He's great with his teammates. He's great in the clubhouse. He just fit into our little family perfectly.
Meanwhile, in Orlando Cepeda's last few years with the Giants, some thought that his skills had eroded.
Stepping in 2 for 4, Lance
As
Berkman.
Cepeda immediately began
This guy here has been known to go
knocking
on a
the
tear
ball
against
over the
right-handed
park
pitching.
and driving his
0-1
new teammates
the count.
across the plate.
We got Orlando Cepeda.
No balls,
Which meant
2
that the
strikes.
single now meant something.
With Cepeda leading a recharged offense. And the ferocious Gibson anchoring the pitching
No
staff.
swing.
The '67 Cardinals began to tear through the National League. They were as confident as they were
He's
talented.
going back
And it
at
didn't
the
seem
track,
like
the
anyone could
wall,
stand in their way.
and he makes the play at the wall.
He ran out of real estate there,
In
but
April
luckily the ball ran out of juice,
1967,
and he was able to make the
heavyweight
catch at
boxing
the wall.
champion Muhammad Ali
And the
refused
pitch.
induction into the Army because of religious beliefs.
Hey,
and
partner, this guy
restricted his
loves
time.
pitches down the zone.
Now, I'm not allowed to fight in America. The American government won't allow me to even
The
exit.
count's 0-2.
So naturally, a man is going to soon run out of money.
In baseball, the defending champions
Cabrera
would get a
sends it to
small
left
taste
field.
of what Ali was feeling.
That'll do it for the Red Sox, and we have 1 inning left to play.
But due in part to a season-ending
After 8
injury
innings,
to their
the
ace, Jim
Mariners
Palmer,
trail by
they
14.
would find themselves unable
Up
to defend
next,
it.
John Buck.
Still, the 1967 season would see no shortage of contenders who were
Ground
looking to
ball to
seize
the
the
right
American
side.
League pennant.
Got him.
In Chicago, the White Sox were completely shutting down teams with their trio of pitchers,
This
Tommy
batter is
John,
no slouch
Gary
when he
Peters,
bats
and
against
Joe
Southpaw.
Orland.
Joe Harlan would pitch a shutout.
Liner right after
Peters would
shortstop.
pitch a shutout. Now I get the ball.
He's on
and
with a one-out
if you gave
single.
up 2 runs, you felt like you
Next
let
at the
everybody
plate,
down.
Rocco Baldelli.
But great pitching wasn't the exclusive property of the White Sox.
67, the Detroit Tigers with them
Swing and a miss.
Burry Wilson.
That was a perfect pitch, partner. Right on the
There's
edge
a
of the
chance that
strike
he
zone. The
might
batter swung
lead
right through
that
it.
city from a hitter's standpoint, maybe 1
Pitch
for
taken
20 or
for a
1
ball.
for 25.
Terrible
And the
pitch.
Tigers could
Slider
hit,
way out
too,
the catcher's target,
featuring
and the batter
power
just
hitter
watched
Willie
it go
Horton
by.
and future Hall of Famer Al Kaline. Detroit scored the second most runs in the American
It's a
League.
foul pop.
You were always in trouble as a ball club when you went into Detroit.
But for sheer star power, no team could match the
Out
Minnesota
of the zone,
Twins.
that's a ball.
On the mound, they boasted former Cy Young Award winner Dean Chance, as well as one of the best left-handers in the
Swing
game,
and a miss,
former
third out.
25-game winner Jim Cott. And when it came to hitting, their trio of Harmon Killebrew, Rod Carew, and Tony Oliva was deadly.
If you never got to see Rod Carew and Tony Oliva hit, you knew something. Because
Sexton will hit
Rod
next.
Carew won 7 American League batting championships, and Tony Oliva was a Rod Carew type hitter with power.
A ball.
You couldn't keep those first two guys off base, and then you had to face Killebrew.
There's a runaround with 2 down.
You could be a couple runs behind real quick.
And there it goes. It's way, way back. It's a home run. A 400-footer.
The pitch is hit to center field.
Killebrew was the best home hitter I've
David whips it away.
He hit 47, 48, 49 home run every year.
Oh, he really hit that one.
If you weren't careful, they would just, all of a sudden, you'd look up and there's
the Red
7
Sox
runs up on
are riding a modest 2-game winning
How'd they
streak.
get here? Their
Perez
offense was awesome.
is the winner. Heron is the loser.
Contend in 1967
the final score,
was
the
New
Red
York
Sox
Yankees.
14, Seattle
give
nothing.
Yankee fans one memorable moment to savor as he became just the 6th player in history to hit 500 homers. Mantle had finally become the favorite son of New Yorkers after struggling to live up to the legendary Joe DiMaggio. This was something that Red Sox outfielder Carl Yastrzemski could relate to, as he had been trying for 6 years to replace a Boston icon.
Taking over for the greatest hitter ever lived, Ted Williams, and the pressure on him was tremendous.
Williams was very outspoken, very opinionated, very talkative. Yastrzemski, on the other hand, was kind of shy, kind of withdrawn, kind of introverted.
Being a youngster at 21 years old, I would like to have come into the big leagues, been unnoticed, and not taking Ted Williams' place or being called the next Ted Williams. I think it would have made it much easier for me.
He wasn't hitting for power. He had 300 batting averages, 1 batting titles, but the fans still weren't viewing him as this is the Yaz we expected. They wanted 30, 35 home runs, 120 RBI, plus the batting, plus everything else.
The Red Sox also had another talented outfielder, 22-year-old Tony Conigliaro. The local hero was starting his 4th season in '67, and unlike Yaz, he enjoyed the limelight and welcomed even the loftiest comparisons.
Well, I don't think I'd like to be as good. I'd like to be better than Ted Williams. I feel that once I get going, I can probably be a better all-around player.
When he had debuted as an 18-year-old kid who was actually living at home with mom and dad, but leaving for the ballpark from after eating, as they wrote in Sports Illustrated, his cornflakes in the morning. And for him to be playing for the hometown team was one of the great stories in all of baseball.
There's a drive by Conigliaro, and it is out of here. What a bomb he is. Conigliaro hits a home run, his first time at bat at Fenway Park. And he gets a tremendous hand. What a thrill that must be for a 19-year-old boy. Look at that smile on his face.
Tony Conigliaro had tremendous charisma, a young guy, good-looking, personable. The fans loved him. The kids loved him. Everybody loved him.
I really want you for my wife. I really need you all my life.
Tony C. led the American League in homers in 1965 and was the 2nd youngest player to reach 100 home runs. He and Yaz gave a Boston team that hadn't contended since the early 50s hope for the future. And the Sox had brought in new manager Dick Williams for the 1967 season to instill a fresh attitude.
The only thing I can tell you right now, I'll guarantee you we'll have a hustling ball club.
Dick Williams had come in as a drill sergeant manager, vowing to change the atmosphere of what everyone referred to as the country club of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, I made a statement and everybody laughed at me, especially the New England writers.
Dick, will you make a prediction for the 1967 Red Sox?
I honestly think we'll win more ball games than we lose.
They thought I was nuts.
But Williams had a plan. He was going to go with his young players like shortstop Rico Petrocelli, first baseman George Scott, and center fielder Reggie Smith. And he was going to get them to play his way.
Good stop by Rico. Played good defense. We played good, smart baseball, ran the bases well, and were able to get bunts down and hit and run, do those things. He felt that we had a chance.
And the young players weren't the only players who were inspired. Sensing a chance to turn the franchise around, Yaz attacked the season with a renewed vigor.